to my channel. Welcome back to me. I can't believe it's still January, like January the what? 95th by now. Like, it is dragging so much. I feel like I've not done anything on social media for so long, but I actually was posting over Christmas, but it just feels so long ago now. Today's video is just going to be about the house move and how that all went for us, and just the differences between what it would have been like had we not been foster carers, but we are. So we got through them, we got over the little bumps, and we are happily settled in our beautiful new home, which is really exciting. Please do like, subscribe, message, share this video. It might not be you that's ever going to be interested in fostering. You might just like following my journey, but there could be somebody on your friends list who this could give them the nudge to go and look into it and go and do it, which is what would be amazing and which is a big part of why I do this. So yeah, so we have moved house. Now, it isn't always easy to move house as a foster care, especially if you've already got children in placement. I did already have the children with me. They'd been with us for about 3 months. We always knew that we were going to be moving because we were renting before and we wanted to buy our own property. So we did know that this was coming. We probably didn't know that it would happen so soon, but we fell in love with this house and we just couldn't pass this up. So initially we had to get permission, so we had to speak to the children's social worker just to see whether it was okay. We are further away from the contact centre than we were before, so we had to ask whether we could change the time of contact to accommodate getting there after school. We had to apply for permission for the children to move schools. Luckily, everybody was really supportive. It was in the best interest of the children. They were going to have to move school eventually anyway, so save them doing move and move again, which probably wouldn't have been authorised, and then I'd have just been doing so much travelling. It isn't always okay to move children's schools. Like, I had one foster carer who was really put out over the fact that we were moving. She's been waiting 3 years to have her children moved and it's not been allowed. So yeah, it is something to consider, and it isn't always as easy as we've luckily been able to have it. You do need to get permission, and you do need to find out whether it would be appropriate for you and the children you've got in placement to move. So yeah, the children have moved school. They've been super supportive. School have been absolutely brilliant. We've supported the children best we can in the move. We had to obviously do a health and safety check on our new house, so our social worker came over and did all of that. So when you are looking for a property, this is a new build, so they build new build properties with health and safety in mind, obviously. But if you are buying a new property, or if you're starting out fostering, start thinking about the health and safety aspect of your property as soon as possible, because sometimes they can ask you to make really big changes. I will do a video detailing exactly what goes into a health and safety check, because people are often quite surprised at what changes have to be made to accommodate foster children. So even like locks on windows, locks on bathroom doors, if you've got any internal doors with glass panels in them, they have to be removed. Lots and lots of things go into it. We had to obviously test all of our fire alarms, have a carbon monoxide machine, which was the only thing that I hadn't done by the time my social worker came round. But aside from that, she was really happy. All of the outside areas were secure, so she was more than happy to sign that off for us. Coming into the property and choosing the property, obviously you have to think about bedrooms, so each foster child needs their own room. Some siblings can share, but if you're looking at a long-term placement, is it going to be feasible for them to share forever? So we had to look for a 4-bedroom house to accommodate us, boy, girl, and have a room for if we ever have our own children. So that's what we had to get ticked off too. And like I keep saying, we were just so lucky that it all fell into place. It was 28 days from viewing this house to moving in, so we did it super quick. But it's just the house of our dreams, and we just can't believe how lucky we are. It just suits us all perfectly. We have bought it, so we have got a mortgage, which, oh my goodness, we'd never thought about it before. But it does make buying a house trickier if you are a foster carer. Foster carers are classed as self-employed, so we have to do a tax return. However, we're not classed as getting a wage as such. So just a bog standard bank or building society, 9 times out of 10, they don't know how to help you. They don't know how to process your income. So we used a mortgage broker. We used a company called the Mortgage Brain, and they were amazing, and they offer a humongous discount for foster carers. We were working with a lady called Katie, and she just did everything so quickly. We had to send her lots and lots of evidence, lots and lots of paperwork, which you would in a mortgage application anyway. But just bear that in mind, it is slightly more difficult when you are doing it as a foster carer as opposed to if you're just working normally. But we got there, we did it, it was all absolutely fine, and now we are really proud and really happy homeowners, so that was fantastic. The move itself, moving is so difficult. Everybody knows, what do they say? Moving house, getting divorced and having a baby, like the 3 most difficult things you'll ever go through. It was stressful, but having foster children in tow was even more difficult, and they hadn't been with us long at all, so it was like taken from their families, moved into us just on the cusp of even thinking about becoming settled, and we were like, no, quick, pack your stuff, we're off again. So you really have to consider the anxieties and the triggers that this will bring up in your foster children. And all I will say is just be understanding. We've had a huge decline in behaviour, but what were we expecting? This is what's best for all of us. You can't expect them to understand that. So we are letting a little bit more slide than we would usually, because once we've got over this hump, it is going to be really, really worthwhile, and it was necessary for the children, for the longevity of the placement, and we just know that it was the right decision, and we know that we'll get there in the end. We just kept reassuring them, like I say, being mindful of what their experiences of moving may have been like before. We got a lot of questions like, is our stuff coming? Am I coming? So we just kept reassuring them that, yep, all of your belongings will be at the new house, you're coming with us. And what was really nice in this house is, because in the old house, they both went into the boys' old bedrooms. And they were very aware of that children had been there before them. Whereas in this house, their bedrooms are their bedrooms, and no one's ever been in their bedrooms before. They've lived in this house as long as we have, so they really can cement their foundations into this house, and it really helps make them feel a part of it, which is brilliant. For the initial moving day, so we moved in on the 4th of July. July? It was definitely January. We had removal men, and it was just chaos. So what we did is we relied on our support network, which is so important to have a support network, and our closest part of our support network is Bernie, Nico's auntie, and she took the kids for I think 2 nights, and that's perfectly okay. So when you become a foster carer, you can have a support network. They have to be DBS'd, their house has to be health and safety checked, and they go and have like an initial meeting with your social worker. And then once they're signed off, they're allowed to care for the children, to give you like respite, or in times like this when you just need them to be out of the way for their peace of mind, or just to go and have a fun sleepover with a grandma role, which is really nice for our children to go and do. And there's nothing worse than being like, oh, move out the way, get in there, come in here, be quiet, sit down. So we didn't want them involved in that chaos of the actual moving. So they went and spent a couple of nights with her, and they were over the moon. They absolutely love spending time with her. We're really, really lucky to have her. And then what we did is we just made sure that their bits were done for when they came back. So we made sure they've got their own living room downstairs. So we made sure all their games were in there, their couch was in there, their TV, it was all set up, nice and cosy, their bean bags. So they really knew that this was all going to be okay, and that it was just as much for them as it was for us. And then we got their bedrooms done as soon as we could, just to make it easier for them. It didn't make all the complications go away, obviously, but we just did what we could to make it much, much easier for them. Because with your own children, maybe you'd spend the first night in mummy and daddy's bed, you'd all sleeping together, or you wouldn't mind putting them out a little bit for a night or two, but stability and routine and safety, that feeling of safety, is paramount with foster children. So we just had to make sure that we put that first, and we had them in the forefront of our mind throughout the whole move. So yeah, we're settled. I'm hoping that this will now give me a little bit more time to do more of this social media stuff. I've had loads of lovely messages. Every time I take a little break, I come back to so many messages, and it really does boost me on to do more of this. So yeah, fingers crossed, we've got the move out of the way, we've got some clarity, and I can start making this a real part of my day and my routine, because I do love doing it, and I love letting you know all about it, and I love spreading the word, and it's super important. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a like, a share, inbox me with what else you want to know. I've got some little videos planned to give you more of an insight, and yeah, thanks very much. See you later.